صلى الله عليك يا أبا عبد الله صلى الله عليك يا ابن رسول الله روحي وجسمي وأرواح العالمين لك الفداء يا مظلوم يا غريب يا شهيد بأرض كربلاء السلام عليك يا صاحب المصيبة الراهطبة السلام عليك وعلى جدك وأبيك وعلى أمك وأخيك وعلى الأئمة من ذريتك وبنيك أشهد لقد طيب الله بك التراب وأوضح بك الكتاب وجعل أفئدة من الناس تهوي إليك ما خاب من تمسك بك ولجأ إليك. Assalamu alaikum upon the Imam who faced continuous musibah on this day. Assalam on the Imam and his grandfather and his father and his mother and his brother and all the Imams upon him. Ashhadu laqad tayyaba Allahu bika turab. We bear witness, O Imam, that the earth you are lying in has become pure because of you. Wa awdaha bikal kitab. And because of you, Ya Ibn Rasulullah, the book of God has become clear for us now. We understand the Quran better because of Imam Hussein. Ma khaba man tamassaka bik wa laja ilayk. The one who has sought refuge in you, O Abu Abdullah, will never be disappointed. Ya Talin al-Kitab, wajahtu salami ilayk. O one who used to love to recite the book of God, we send our salams to you, O Hussein. Ya Sahib al-Musibatul Ratiba. O one who faced continuous musibah on this day. Karbala truly only makes sense when we understand it in the concept of Tawheed, that struggle by Ibrahim to establish the oneness of God. Because Tawheed is not only a command to believe in one God, it demands something from us. It demands consciousness. It demands moral awareness and the resolution to keep up to certain principles. As somebody correctly said, if you have nothing to die for, then you have nothing to live for. This was the lesson of Hussein, that in the face of humiliation, violation of principles, never ever give up. And therefore, when Shimr Mal'oon told him that, "O Hussein, we do not wish to hear you anymore. Either you give the bay'ah to Yazid or we will kill you." And Hussein's reply was, "Wallahi la yakunu dhalika abada." That will never ever happen. Tawheed demands loyalty to God only, not to thrones, not to crowns. Tawheed demands a sense of spiritual and moral awareness in us. We must have and we must strive for ideas like justice and equality. The deeds of Imam Hussein cause deep moral and spiritual awareness within us. Imam Hussein wanted to waken up the conscience of the Muslims. What concerned Imam Hussein was not only that Yazid was demanding bay'ah, but that the Muslims were willing to give him that bay'ah. There was no sense of awareness, of moral consciousness. Why is it that Hussein refused to give bay'ah, especially to Yazid? Because Yazid and his whole dynasty had flouted and violated all the basic principles of humanity. It was the Banu Umayyah who would hang the Quran on the wall and shoot arrows at the Quran. The Khalifa of Hisham would do that, and then he would say, "O Quran, you can complain to me on the day of Qiyamah." It was the Muslim state had reached such a state whereby the poor were getting poorer, the rich were getting richer. Yazid it was whose forces had pillaged Medina, had raped so many women. They had even burnt the Kaaba. And that was what was concerning Imam Hussein. That such a person who claims to be the Amir al-Mu'mineen and the Muslims are quiet about it. That was why Imam Hussein had to make a stand. Because now Islam had become a rich man's club. The Arabs were somehow superior to non-Arabs, completely contrary to what Islam had taught. And that is why Imam Hussein felt that he had to make sacrifices. The most pertinent and the deepest sacrifices that he could make, which was his own family, his own children, and give up his own life. Being slain and to be killed is bitter, but in the path of God, it becomes sweet. To be killed is bitter, but when you are killed in the name of God, it becomes sweet. My sisters and brothers, it was because of these principles that when Imam Hussein met the army of Hur, he would deliver khutbahs to them. And in one khutbah which has been preserved by all our sources, he asked, أَلَا تَرَوْنَ أَنَّ الْحَقَّ لَا يُعْمَلْ بِهِ وَالْبَاطِلَ لَا يَتَنَاهَى عَنْهُ. O people, don't you see that the truth is not being practiced and falsehood is not being forbidden, so that a mu'min can meet Allah on the right path? لِيُرْغِبَ الْمُؤْمِنَ عَلَى حَقٍّ إِنِّي لَا أَرَى الْمَوْتَ إِلَّا السَّعَادَةَ وَالْحَيَاةَ مَعَ الظَّالِمِينَ إِلَّا بَرَمًا. I do not see death except as a way towards everlasting happiness. But to live with these people, with the Banu Umayyah, is going to be humiliation. I will die in honor, Hussein says, but I will never live in humiliation. The remembrance of Imam Hussein causes deep spiritual and moral awareness within us. It awakens up our conscience. As another poet correctly said, do not mourn their deaths, rather imitate their lives. The shuhada, we need to imitate their lives, what they stood for, what they died for, what they gave their lives for. Indeed, when Imam Hussein wrote a letter, he wrote many letters. When we read through these letters, through his sermons, we see exactly what Imam Hussein was fighting for. Why is it that he felt he had to give his life for? Inna sunnah umyayat, he writes to the people of Basra. Indeed, the sunnah of the Prophet has been killed by these people. Wal bid'ah uhyiyat, and bid'ah, innovation, have been revived by these people. Where are your consciences? How can you accept such a ruler? This was not a fight between Hussein and Yazid. It was between right and wrong, truth and falsehood. And that's why when Imam Hussein was asked by Walid bin Utbah to give the bay'ah to Yazid in Medina, he was still in Medina, what does Imam Hussein say? He says, Mithli la yubayi'u mithlah. Those like me will never give bay'ah to those like him. This was not an issue between Yazid and Hussein. It was between right and wrong. Those like me will never ever give bay'ah to those like him. It was true that Iqbal, Allama Iqbal said so correctly, many a person was born after his death. Many a person was born after his death. He opened our eyes when his own eyes were closed. He opened our eyes when his own eyes were closed. And that is why also Allama Iqbal says that Islam comes to life every Muharram because of Karbala. Islam comes to life every Muharram because of Karbala. We all know how to die after living, but Hussein taught us how to live after dying. This was Hussein. This is why we mourn for him today, because he taught us how to live after dying. Just as Salat purifies us, our souls, Karbala purifies our morality, our sense of moral consciousness. Tells us that when there is a wrong, something wrong being done, you cannot afford to keep quiet. Speak up, write, do something, but do not be morally indifferent. That's why I say that Karbala is a great moral educator. It teaches us so many different lessons. I have been talking about this for so many days. But when you look at just one or two examples, you will see how Karbala talks to us even today. That Hur, a person who was primarily responsible for bringing Imam Hussein to Karbala, and when he's asked, "Oh Hur, I have never seen you behave like this. You are the bravest of the brave. What is wrong with you? What is going on?" And what does Hur say? Inni ukhayyur nafsi bayna jannah wa nar. I'm choosing within myself between heaven and hell. I know what I've done is wrong. I need to repent. And the only way that he can repent is to come to Hussein, falling at his feet. And he says, Yabna Rasulillah, قَدْ جِئْتُكَ تَعِبًا مِمَّا كَانَ مِنِّي. I have come to you repentant. Is there a way that you can forgive me? If Hur is showing us how to seek repentance, Imam Hussein is showing us how to forgive. Because he did not take revenge. He did not scold Hur. On the contrary, he embraced him. And he says, "Oh Hur, you are as noble and as free as your mother has named you. You are free to go." Azadarana Hussein. This is the day of Ashur. Early in the morning, Hussein turns to Ali Akbar. Beta Ali Akbar, give the adhan. Why Ali Akbar in particular? Because his voice, his demeanor, his shakl, the way that he looked, reminded everybody of the Prophet. Hussein maybe was thinking that by hearing Ali Akbar's azan, maybe this zalim will remember the Prophet. Nothing was to happen. Hussein took all the letters that his Shias had written to him. He burned them all so that his Shias would not be in trouble after him. He pulled all the tents together so that they would not attack the tents individually. And then he put fire behind the tents. Why? So that nobody could attack the tent from the rear. When Shimr Mal'un saw that there was a fire behind the tent, he started taunting Hussein that you are already in the fire. At that time, Muslim bin Awsijah said, "Yabna Rasulillah, let me go and kill Shimr. How dare can he speak to you like that?" Hussein says, "Oh Muslim, Hussein will never start the fighting. Hussein will not fight unless it is in self-defense. But we will not start the fighting." Azadar and Hussein. This is the day of Ashura. Hussein lines up his army in front of him. In the middle of the army is Abbas. On the other side, on one side, the right side is Zuhair. On the left side is Habib. Hussein comes up in front of his enemies and he says, maybe I should talk to them. Maybe if they remember who I am, maybe they might change their minds. Hussein comes to the army, to his enemy, with a camel. The camel, if you are not riding it, was a sign of peace. He took the camel with one hand and the Quran in the other. Ya ayyuhan nas, i'lamu inna dunya dar al-fana. Oh, people know that this world will perish. You will not live forever. Oh, people, if you think I have done wrong, judge me by this Quran. Have I violated the Quran? Have I made halal into haram? Have I made haram into halal? Why are you killing me, O people? Ayyuhanas insabuni man ana. O people, trace my lineage. If you do not know me, who am I? You look east or west, you will not find any other grandson of the Prophet alive today apart from me. Wasn't Fatima my grandmother? Wasn't Ali my father? Wasn't Fatima my mother? Wasn't Ali my father? Oh people, why are you killing me then? And then Imam Hussein says, wasn't the Quran revealed in our home, oh people? Didn't the Prophet say about me, Al-Hasan wal-Hussein, Sayyid Shababi Ahli Jannah? Didn't my grandfather say, Husseinu minni wa ana min al-Hussein? If you do not believe me, O people, go and ask Malik ibn Anas, ask Jabir ibn Allah al-Ansari, ask Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, they will confirm what I'm telling you. Oh people, tell me, what wrong have I done to you? Shimr says, oh Hussein, we do not wish to hear you anymore. Either your head or your hand in the hand of Yazid. Hussein says, Wallahi la yakunu dhalika abada. Azadarana Hussein. After all efforts at peace failed, even Zuhair and Habib came to the people. Zuhair says, oh people, as long as we have not started fighting, we are brethren in faith. It is our duty to remind you not to fight against Hussein. You are not killing Hussein, you are killing the Prophet himself. You are not fighting against Hussein, you are fighting against the Prophet himself. You are not hurting Hussein, you are hurting Fatima to Zahra. Oh people, think what you are about to do. The people were astonished. Oh Zuhair, you are supposed to be against Hussein, not with Hussein. Why are you fighting with Hussein, not against him? Zuhair says, I never wrote to Hussein, but when I saw Hussein on the path, لما رأيته ذكرت به رسول الله. I remembered the Prophet. And I knew that if I was to fight against Hussein, I would be fighting the Prophet himself. Azadarani Hussein, at that point, Umar ibn Sa'ad, he fires the first arrow and he says, let me be the witness that the fighting has started. One by one, the companions of Hussein, they give their lives in front of him. Abu Wahab, who had just come from Kufa, as he goes to the battlefield, he recites the Rajasdik poem for his wife, saying, today you will know how loyal and how brave your husband was. John also comes in front of Imam Hussein. I wish to mix my blood with your blood, Yabna Rasulullah. Azadarane Hussein. They could not, the army could not handle one by one. Therefore, at the time of Zohar, they came and have a humongous onslaught against the army of Hussein. It is said up to 500 people with archers were attacking Imam Hussein. At that time, over 50 warriors of Imam Hussein passed away. Azadarana Hussein, a time comes when Shimr says, Salatul Hussein la tuqbal. The prayers of Hussein will not be accepted. Habib could no longer accept it. He says to Imam Hussein, Yabna Rasulillah, now it is my turn. There is no point in living anymore. Hi, Hussein and Habib, they embrace and hug on the plains of Karbala. As Habib is going towards the battlefield, Hussein looks at Habib and he says, Rahimakallahu ya Shaykh. May God have mercy upon you, O Shaykh. If only these people knew who they are about to kill. A time comes when even Ali Akbar, the time which was the most difficult for Hussein, as Ali Akbar is going to the battlefield, Hussein is going behind him. Ali says, oh my father, you have allowed me to go. Why are you coming behind me? Hussein says, oh Ali, if only you were a father, you would know what I am going through right now. It is not Ali who is going to the battlefield. A part of Hussein is going to the battlefield with him. Hi, Hasadarani Hussein. A time comes also when Abbas is going towards the battlefield. Hussein is looking at the flag of Abbas. When the flag of Abbas falls for the final time, Hussein goes to the battlefield. Wa Abbasa, wa akhaha. Sakina is waiting at the tent. Oh children, I can see the flag is coming. My uncle is coming back. I told you he will bring water. Sakina sees only her father. Abbas is no more. She says, where is my uncle? Hussein points to the river. Your uncle is lying near the river. Azadar Ali Hussein. And now no one is alive. Even little Ali Asghar. Even little Ali Asghar has died now. Hussein looks to the right, looks to the left. Aina anta ya Habib. Aina anta ya Zuhair. Aina anta ya Abbas. The ladies are crying. Even Ali Asghar is gone now. Hussein comes to the battle, comes to the tent. Ya Nisa al-Ahlul Bayt. Oh, the ladies of Ahlul Bayt. Ilmunna. Know that I am going to give my life now. Know that you will be faced with bala, with difficulties. Oh, ladies. The ladies surrounded Hussein. Our sources do not tell us how the ladies allowed Hussein to go. But they said, Mawla, do not leave us now. You are the only male adult alive. Hussein takes Zainab to another tent and he says, Zainab, this is my final wasiyah to you. Look after my daughter Sakina. Sakina will not sleep without my chest. When you get water, first give it to Sakina. And then Zainab says, oh my brother, come close to me. Hussein goes closer. She kisses the neck of Hussein. Why are you kissing my neck, Zainab? She says, this is a wasiyah. This is the wasiyah of our mother. She told me, oh Zainab, on the day of Ashur, kiss that neck on which the knife of Shimr will go. Hussein takes the hand of Zainab, kisses the hands of Zainab. Why are you kissing my hand? This is also the wasiyah of our mother, because on this hand will go the ropes and the chains. Hussein is about to go to the battlefield, but he says, I must go and see my son. Zainul Abidin, Sayyid Sajjad, Imam Hussein and Zainab, they go to the tent of Zainul Abidin. Imam Zainul Abidin is sleeping. Zainab says, better Sajjad, wake up. Your father has come to bid you farewell. Zainul Abidin opens his eyes. When he sees Hussein in that state, your first question he asks, Ya Abati Aini Amma, where is my uncle Abbas? He knew that if Abbas was alive, Hussein would not be in that state. Zainul Abidin is asking, where's my brother? Where is Hur? Hussein says, oh Zainul Abidin, oh better Sajjad, do not ask anymore. Apart from you and me, there is no male adult alive anymore. Hussein gives the wasiyah. Better Sajjad, you are going to be the Imam after me. And then he says, oh Sajjad, when you go back to Medina, when you go back to Medina, give my salams to my Shias. Tell them that Hussein remembered you on the day of Ashura. That when you drink water, remember the thirst of Hussein. For 3 days Hussein died with no water, no food. Azadarane Hussein. Hussein comes out of the tent now. He goes on his horse lying. Oh, lying, take me to the battlefield. This is the final time I will trouble you. The horse doesn't move. The horse doesn't move. Why? Because Hussein looks at the ground. Sakina is holding on to the horse. Do not take my father to the battlefield. Do not make me a thief. Hussein comes down from his horse. He puts Sakina on his lap. Sakina, let me go. Sakina, let me go and join my mother, my grandfather. Sakina goes to sleep in the laps of Hussein. And then suddenly she wakes up. Baba, oh my father, you may go now. You may go. Sakina, what happened? She says, when I went to sleep, I saw my grandmother. My grandmother said, Sakina, do not delay Hussein anymore. We are waiting for Hussein. Azadaran Hussein. Hussein is coming to the battlefield. He is tired. He is thirsty. He is hungry. He is wounded. But he is very brave. When the enemy see Hussein is coming, they all scatter. Nobody would dare come near him. Nobody would come and fight him. Hussein says, you want to fight? Come near me. Nobody would go near him. Hussein, he enters the river. He is near the river. He goes into the river. Umar ibn Saad says, do not let Hussein drink any water. As Hussein is near the river, the army shouts that, look, your enemy are entering into the tent. The enemy is going towards the tent. Hussein comes out of the river. Don't you know that Hussein is still alive? Don't you know that there are ladies in there with no hijab? Azadar Hussein. Soon the army surround Hussein. The arrows are flying from all sides. The spears are flying from all sides. Hussein is all alone. Hussein is on his horse, but with all those arrows, they are fighting him from all sides. Umar ibn Saad says, pelt rocks and snakes and stones at him, anything which comes in your hand. Azadarani Hussein, Hussein finally comes down from his horse on the ground of the plains of Karbala. Imam as-Sadiq said, my grandfather Hussein, he came down from his horse on the ground. He could not touch the ground because so many arrows were sticking out from his body. Hussein now is on the plains of Karbala. Nobody could get close to him. Everybody was scared of Hussein. When they looked at the face of Hussein, they could see the Prophet himself. Azadarane Hussein. This is the final anecdote. Zainab comes out from the tent. What does she see? Shimr Mal'un is sitting on the chest of Hussein. Zainab turns towards Umar ibn Saad. Ya ibn Saad, ayuqtalu Abu Abdullah wa anta tanzur. Oh Umar ibn Saad, will Hussein be killed while you are looking? Do something. Umar ibn Saad did not do anything. Zainab turns towards the army. She says, is there a Muslim amongst you? Is there a Muslim? No Muslim would allow this to happen to the grandson of the Prophet. Nobody did anything. Zainab goes to the 10, she brings Sweater Sajjad out. Sajjad comes out. What does he see? The head of Hussein is at the end of the spear. Assalamu alayka ya abata. Qutil al-Husayni bi ardh kala. Qutil al-Husayni bi ardh